Good morning. My name is Matt Griffin. I am a Director of Product Management with Percona, and I'm here today to share some information about one of our pieces of software called Percona Toolkit and the benefits that it delivers to OpenStack operators in managing the database component of their clouds. So just a quick information about Percona. We are the oldest and largest independent provider of MySQL support, consulting, and remote DBA and training services. We've been around since 2006, so we've been in this area for a long time. We are a global company with a 24/7 staff spread throughout the world and with 24/7 support and services. But out of those support and services and consulting comes our open source software. It's really gained on the knowledge and expertise that we accumulate through our services. So there are many use cases for MySQL today and have been for many, many years. But many don't know, or many are learning, that MySQL is actually the core of OpenStack and the host database used by many of the components like Ceilometer, Keystone, and others. So for an OpenStack operator, it's really important to know this, but also know you have the right tools to save time and know your environments at the same time. And that's why I'm talking about Percona Toolkit today. But just some quick information about our other software. So I mentioned that we have various open source applications. That includes Percona Server, which is an enhanced version of MySQL Community Edition for high performance. We have Percona Extra Backup, which is a free MySQL hot backup solution, enabling non-blocking backups. And then Percona XtraDB Cluster, which is a combination of Percona Server, the latest version of Percona Server, the latest version of Percona Extra Backup, and the latest version of the Galera replication technology. And then finally, Percona Toolkit. So Percona Toolkit is a collection of over 30 command line tools for performing various MySQL Server and system tasks that typically can take a long time to do, or they're just too difficult or complex to perform manually. It really makes them very easy to do. It is supported by a wide range of databases and MySQL variants, from MySQL Community Edition to Percona Server, and can be used on various operating systems as well. And it covers a wide range of DBA tasks. There are many options that DBAs have for performing these types of tasks, and they use various tools. But what's different and unique about Percona Toolkit is it's professionally developed, supported and maintained by Percona. We have a team that works on the application. It's mature for over 6 years. It contains thousands of tests that we run on many different combinations of MySQL versions and operating systems. And it's as I mentioned, it's an application that we support. It's very popular. It's been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times, and most importantly, perhaps, it's open source. And we encourage anyone to visit our Launchpad project space to learn more about the software, submit bugs, and patches are always welcome. So for OpenStack, I mentioned this before, but MySQL is a really critical component of OpenStack deployments. For operators, they need tools that are going to help them save time, but also know their environments well. And that's a great application of Percona Toolkit, not only in the host database, used by all the different components of OpenStack, but also in the guest Trove instances. Now that Trove is a more mature component of OpenStack, it's going to be more important to have the right tools to ensure that all those guest instances are operating at an optimal level. So I'm just going to cover 5. I said that there were over 30. I'm just going to cover 5 with the time that we have today. So we'll dive right into those. So first, PT Archiver. So at its most basic level, PT Archiver enables you to archive rows from a MySQL table to another table or a flat file. The end result is you're removing useless data, but you're doing it in a safe and a slow manner. So anyone can go in and delete data from a database, but what PT Archiver does it in a very ordered way and also has checks along the way to make sure that you're not breaking anything that's critical. So for the benefits, the end result is faster queries. And this is a simple oversimplification, but essentially the less data that you have in your tables, the faster that your queries will run. And also easier backups. So it's a lot easier to back up a small amount of data versus a large amount of data. And essentially, if you don't need the data, archive it. And PT Archiver is a great resource to use. Next is PT Duplicate Key Checker. So another very important tool is looking at your indexes and looking at your foreign keys and figuring out what's important and what's not important. And that's essentially what PT Duplicate Key Checker does. The benefits are you have simpler tables. So if you're a developer encountering an environment for the first time, it's easier to understand the tables and the schema if it's simpler to see and there are less unnecessary things in there. And then for operations as well, it's easier to manage when you're encountering an environment for the first time if it's optimized and things that are important are removed. And then finally, there are some performance gains by removing extra wasted things that aren't really necessary, and that just results in wasted work. Next is PT MySQL Summary. This is a great tool if you're coming to a new system for the first time and you just want to learn a lot of information about what is installed, how it's performing, how is it designed, and you want it in one single output. All this information you can hunt and gather through multiple commands, but this is one command that gives you a single snapshot of this information. So it tells you about the master-slave setups, it gives you a snapshot of the processes that are currently running. It's just a snapshot, you can find out other information through other means. And a bunch of other really great things that's really important when you're encountering an environment for the first time, or you're coming back to an environment you haven't looked at for a while. So that's a really great resource, PT MySQL Summary. As a complement to that, there's PT Summary as well, which tells you more information just about the system itself that the database is installed on. It tells you information about the operating system, the memory usage and disk space, the virtualization details, and any hardware information as well. All sorts of information, and it's a great resource that will save you time and give you information in a single snapshot. And then finally, PT Stock. And I mentioned that there are over 30 tools, so this is a small subset, but PT Stock I thought was important to mention because oftentimes problems happen in MySQL when you're not watching. And PT Stock is a tool that you can use to collect forensic data about MySQL when problems occur, and you just let it run, and it collects lots and lots of data. But essentially, it enables you to do a more thorough post-mortem analysis of MySQL problems. So benefits are it never sleeps. So you don't have to stay up and watch these metrics and drink lots of coffee. You set this application running, and it accumulates lots and lots of data, and then you go back and look at the data afterwards after you notice that the problems occurred again. So that's a really important tool to use as part of your OpenStack operations resource list. So there are lots of other resources that we have available about Percona Toolkit. We encourage anyone to go to www.percona.com and download the application. You can also get it from our repositories. And it's also available from Debian and Ubuntu repositories. And with the 14.04 release of Ubuntu, you can get the very latest version of Percona Toolkit available from the repositories. It's just an apt-get install Percona Toolkit. And then there's other monitoring tools and software available from Percona as well. Percona monitoring plugins, which work with Cacti and Nagios. And then Percona Cloud Tools, which is now in beta, which is a hosted service for monitoring the performance of your MySQL databases at cloud.percona.com. And then as always, we encourage anyone to read more information written by our support and our consultants and our DBA experts about MySQL by visiting the MySQL Performance blog. There's articles posted every single day on generally anything related to MySQL, and we encourage anyone to go and read the articles there. So finally, I'd like to say thank you to the V. Brownback crew and their sponsors, HP, Rackspace, and Cisco. Thank you.